Hey everybody, so today for you guys I am doing this makeup tutorial for you. I wore this on Valentine's Day and my boyfriend went absolutely nuts over it. He thought that it was like he said in quote, the prettiest eye look or the prettiest makeup that I've ever worn. So I decided that as soon as he said that I needed to do a tutorial because obviously if he compliments me like that it means something. So this is the look here. It's sort of like a smokier, smoky date night kind of look. This could also be just a good going out look. It's using some browns and plums and kind of natural cheeks, natural lips, perfected skin, bold eyebrows, you know, the kind of go-to for me. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this and you find this helpful, and let's just get on to the tutorial. Okay, so as usual, I did one side here for time's sake. The only thing not done with this eye is lower mascara and the lower lash line, just because, as you guys know, I like to do that after I've done my foundation. And since this look is so dark and kind of smoky, I like to do my foundation afterwards. That way, if anything falls down, my foundation can clean it up. You guys know the drill. I'm going to start off by priming my eyelids with some of the Bare Minerals Primetime Eyeshadow Primer, because this stuff is like glue for your eyeshadow. And for this look today, I'm having to wear it pretty late into the night. So I'm really wanting something that will stay on, and it has really slight neutralizing properties. It's nothing like, you know, a paint pot or a concealer or anything like that, but it does somewhat neutralize the discoloration on your eyelids. And I think that for like dark smoky looks like this, that's really important, because the last thing that you want showing through is veinage and stuff, especially when we start to blend out these colors here. I'm then going to go in with a little bit of a color tattoo. Now this step is completely optional. When I did this look for Valentine's Day, I actually did not do this step, but as I was applying the eyeshadow, I was kind of wishing that I would have, just because it'll make things a little bit easier. It's totally, I mean, you can totally do it without it. It's just a little bit easier if you take something like a deep dark brown base. You could even use a black and just, you know, use it very sparingly. But something like this is the color tattoo in the shade Matte Brown. It's just going to help you to apply the color a little bit more evenly when we go in with that dark color. So I'm just taking a little bit of this onto my ring finger. I'm basically just applying a very, very thin layer of this all over my eyelids. So for the majority of this look, I'm going to be using the Cargo. This is the Vintage Escapes palette. Ooh, there you go, you can kind of see it. I'm going to be mainly focusing on this palette. However, I am going to be pulling in two different shades from the Lorac Pro Palette, just because there's like one shade in particular that this palette doesn't have. However, if you don't have this Vintage Escapes palette and you just have the Lorac Pro Palette, I will give you options just from the Lorac palette, so that you don't have to worry about trying to find other colors in your collection. You can totally do this look just using the Lorac palette, but I'm just going to be kind of using both since I have both here. I'm going to start with the shade called Cuddle, which is that pinky shade right there. If you don't have this palette, go into Nude from the Lorac Pro palette. This color is just sort of like a light salmony, peachy pink color. Has a very light kind of iridescence to it, and usually I never put shimmer up here by the crease, but there's something about this shade and just the way that this ends up looking when you do this that I really, really, really like the effect. And this isn't a super shimmery color, it's just a nice iridescent color. This is also just going to add a little bit of depth, as you can kind of see, and it's just going to help to start that blending process. The next color that I lay down is going to be from Lorac Pro Palette. I'm so sorry, mine is so messy because my shade Nude, I dropped the palette and it totally just shattered on me. So the palette looks absolutely disgusting now, and I need to go in and maybe try to clean it up. But try to ignore it. We're going to go into Mauve, which is just a matte mauve shade. And I'm just kind of applying this right there, you know, like the very socket of my eye. Not so much my crease, because as you can see when I kind of look straight, my crease is right there. More of my socket is a little bit up further from it. So just kind of defining the eye a little bit. Again, starting that blending process. This is sort of going to be a transition color, so you can blend it up a little bit more towards the brow bone. This just is going to kind of add a slight plummy warmth to the look. Then I'm going to go back into the Cargo palette, and I'm going to take the shade called Chestnut, which in the pan, I mean, it looks like a pretty dark brown, but it's what I have on my lid, and you can see that when it goes on, it is definitely dark. And even without that color tattoo, I mean, that color tattoo just added a very, very light wash of brown, but without it, I mean, it's basically, it almost looks like a charcoal gray color. It doesn't even look brown. I don't know how that happens. It like somehow mingles with like your skin oils or something, and it turns like this gray color. If you don't have this palette, use Espresso from the Lorac Pro palette, and that will work just as well. And with this, we're just going to pat it all over the eyelid. And this kind of seems scary because you're taking like basically black eyeshadow all over your eyelid, but I promise you that once we blend it out and everything, it all kind of comes together and it just creates a really pretty smoky look. So once you have the color applied, just take it to the crease so that when you look forward, there's kind of a definite, here's the transition color, and then there's your lid color. It's going to kind of make your eyelid look a little bit weird, but then we're going to go in with some type of a blending brush and just kind of blend out those edges. This look requires a lot of blending, so if you're not super comfortable with blending, I just recommend, you know, taking your time, making sure that you're using small little circular motions as well as those windshield wiper motions that, you know, everybody talks about. Then I just got a tiny little bit of that chestnut color, like a smidge, and I'm going to really make sure I top it off on the top of that. And I'm just going to use this to kind of help fade it up a little bit into that mauve and that cuddle color that we used earlier, just sort of our transition colors up there. And once you have it kind of nicely blended, going back into the Lorac palette, I'm going to take the shade called Taupe. Just right there. Something kind of like this is going to help to add warmth to it. And it's also going to help to make the look a little bit less bruisey looking, because if you just keep that mauve color and then that black color, it's going to kind of look like a black eye. So definitely don't skip this step. I'm just taking this on like the fluffiest brush that I own from Sonia Kashuk. And also taking it on a really fluffy brush like this is again going to aid in the whole blending process. And this is just, like I said, a really, really important step. If you're recreating this look, don't miss this, otherwise you're going to end up just having a big, nice black eye. And during that whole blending process, some of the lid color just naturally gets blended away, so I'm just going to go back in with that same chestnut color and just kind of reapply it. And I'm just taking a really, really tiny amount because obviously you don't want to just go over and have to blend again. You're just wanting to apply a little bit more of that pigment to places where it was lost. Next it is time for eyeliner. For this look I'm going to be using the Essence. This is their gel eyeliner in Midnight in Paris, which is the best name in the entire world. And my Sonia Kashuk, this is the bent liner brush. And as you can see here, I just kind of slightly winged it out. Definitely if you want this look to look even more dramatic, you can use more of a dramatic wing and it's going to give you a really lot more of a smokier dramatic look. But I'm wanting it to not look too crazy and too out there, so I'm just going to do a little flick on the end. Alright, once you have your winged eyeliner on, go in with some type of a pencil and just use this on your waterline and tightline. Again, it's just going to give that kind of smokier effect, and it's just going to help to pull the look all together. Now I'm going to go in here with some mascara. I'm using the Physicians Formula. This is the Sexy Booster Volume Mascara, which I have done a review on. You can go check that out if you want to know more about this product, but basically it's amazing and it's been like my favorite mascara for the past few weeks. Alrighty, so this is the point where you can go in and do your foundation. I'm not going to show you guys this step. I will come back and tell you guys what I use, but you know, applying foundation and concealer and all that stuff is pretty easy and it's not worth the extra 5 minutes it would take to show you guys. So I'll be back here in just a second. I'll tell you guys what I use and then we'll finish up on the eyes and then do our cheeks and all that good stuff. Alrighty, so I'm back, so now it's time to do the lower lash line. I'm going to go back into the Lorac Pro Palette again. I know it seems like we're switching a lot between palettes, but just bear with me here. I'm going to go back into Taupe and Mauve, those kind of transition shades that we used, and I'm going to be mixing both of them just on a small crease brush. And then this is just going to go right underneath here. Then I'm going to go back into my blending brush and just kind of blend out that edge a little bit. Then I'm going to use Chestnut from the Cargo palette. Ooh, sorry, there you go. Chestnut, the dark brown that we used all over our eyelid. I'm just placing this really closely next to my lash line. I'm going to go back into that little tiny crease brush and blend that shade out. And then finish it off with some mascara. I'm going to use my Neutrogena Healthy Links for my lower lash line just because the brush is a little bit easier to maneuver down there. Okay, so that is the eyes completed. I obviously did my eyebrows and stuff along with my foundation routine. I'm going to zoom you guys out, show you what I used, and then we'll finish up on the cheeks and the lips. Okay, so for foundation, I used my Belletto Studio Foundation, just the FY1 shade and FY2 shade. And then I did use a little bit of my Nars. This is the Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is a new purchase for me. I just use this underneath my eyes because I really don't like the look of airbrush foundation underneath my eyes, so I like to go in with a different concealer. I'm going to put that away. And then for powder, I just powdered a little bit with my Too Faced Primed and Poreless Powder. I realized that since I filmed my foundation routine using the Belletto Studio, that for powder, I really like it. And then for eyebrows, I use my Anastasia Dip Brow in the shade Dark Brown. Let me know if you guys want an updated brow routine or something using this, because my last brow routine is sort of void as of the moment because I don't use that routine anymore. So if you guys want a new brow routine, be sure to let me know and I'll show you how I highlight my brows and everything like that too. And then we're just going to now move on to lips. I did contour slightly with a little bit of the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, but that's really kind of easy and there's a million different contouring videos out there. So I'm just going to move on to blush. I'm going to be using the Rimmel Lasting Finish Blush in the shade Santa Rose. Taking this onto an angled brush, and I'm mainly going to concentrate this back towards my cheekbones here. Then I'm just going to take my Everyday Minerals Aussie Perk Me Up Concealer. This is what you guys know I like to use as a highlight. Just tap a little bit of this here at my cheekbone. And then for the lips, I'm keeping it really simple and just really nude using this is the Revlon Super Lustrous Lipstick in the shade 619 Rose and Shine. This is kind of one of those perfect My Lips But Better shades, and with the finish of it, I find that I don't need a lip gloss, so I like to just leave it like this. And that is it. This is the completed look. I'll zoom you guys in one more time so you can kind of get a better look at the eyes all done. Alright, and that is everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this and you found this helpful. Let me know if you are interested in trying out a look like this, or if you think it's pretty, or just let me know your comments on it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.